I've been seeing a lot recently that there have been people making confessions. People that normally like to come off as very knowledgeable about a variety of topics, only to then make this stunning confession that their followers didn't know. Usually about said topic. I should clarify. I mean, I'm sure that there are some other people that make some stunning confessions about their personal life that, you know, shocks people. But that's not what we're doing today. I kind of had to sit here for a while and think about what I could possibly say that was both truthful and might be shocking to some people. And while what I come up with I don't necessarily know is a confession per se, I still felt like it was something worth discussing. Mostly just because of like my mindset around it and why this thing came to be. So, from the past decade, if anybody asked me like what was your favorite anime of the last good number of years, I would say that one of my favorite anime was Made in Abyss. So, when I say that to people, it might then come as a shock to say that I haven't watched anything beyond the initial series. Some of that is not something that I really needed to watch. There are 3 Made in Abyss films, and the first 2 are kind of sort of recap. But at the same time, there's some very slight changes in the films from what I've been told. There's new music into the films. There's reasons to watch those films beyond the fact that a lot of it I've already seen. But more importantly, there's an entire 3rd film. There is a sequel film for one of my favorite anime, and I haven't watched it. And it's not even a matter of me saying that I did not have the ability to watch it. See, because it's a film, that could have potentially have been a factor. I happen to live in Canada, where we don't necessarily get a lot of anime in theatrical releases, and even the ones that we do get, there's no guarantee that I'll be able to even go to it, because it could be hours away on one day that I happen to be busy or gone for a variety of reasons. But in this particular case, I technically had an option, like pre-lockdown and everything, to go and see this film in theaters, and I chose not to. And I felt that this was kind of worth discussing, because there's something to be said as to why. It's not a matter of I don't like Made in Abyss anymore. It's not a matter of my opinions on it have changed over the years. I still say it's one of my favorite anime, and there is a part of me that really does want to watch the film, because I am a stupid fan of Made in Abyss. I have bought Nendoroids for Made in Abyss. I bought the soundtrack on vinyl. Do I own a record player? No. Then again, I bought like the vinyl for Berserk as well, only to find out when I got it that it didn't have Forces on it. You know, like the best song. Anyway, so it's it did kind of make me think for a moment of, all right, why did I not want to watch the sequel to my favorite thing? And it's not just that, but I've noticed that that's been applying to a lot of things. My second favorite anime for the past probably 10 years, Shirobako. I don't believe I've had the ability to watch its sequel film yet, because I don't think it's been released in a place that I could see it. But at the same time, I try to imagine, well, hey, if I was told, hey, you could go watch this week, would I go? Well, probably not because of lockdown, but removing lockdown even from it, I don't know if I would necessarily, because it's like I want to watch it, but I fear what my life will be like afterwards. This, I think, heavily ties back into a kind of jealousy I have for certain people who haven't watched my favorite anime. So, like, if I run into a person that says they haven't watched Made in Abyss, I'm excited for them. I tell them, you should watch this. It's a great experience. Please join me in my suffering. Because that's almost what it's like when you have this show that you love so much, and then it's over. Like, there are different levels of limbo after you finish a great show. There's the limbo of shows that don't end on a narrative conclusion, which I hate the most. Now it's not so much a join me in my suffering because, hey, there is a sequel film, but eventually there'll come a time where either they'll stop adapting things or the story will end. Hopefully it's when the story ends, but even at that point, when you finish it, it's done. Like, it's over. Go home. And maybe it's this like combination of a fear of there's no guarantee that any show for the rest of your life will make you feel that way. And Made in Abyss isn't the only way that I feel this way. Neither is like Shirobako or that, but it's kind of like my feeling towards a lot of things. A lot of people that I'm following on social media right now are talking about ReZero. I've had to mute those conversations because I don't really want spoilers, but at the same time, I haven't actively tried to keep up with this show. I want to. I desperately... This is, by the way, I'm not going to be reading comments for this video because I know people are going to spoil everything for me. But for ReZero, like, I want to watch more ReZero. I loved watching... Well, loved is maybe not the best description, but I got a lot out of watching the original ReZero. I looked forward to the sequel being released, and now that it's out, I'm happy that it's there. And eventually I'll watch it. I suppose I could make the excuse of, oh, I'm just waiting for it to be done, and then I'll marathon it, which historically has been what I've done for these types of things. But there's also precedent for me not doing that. What is the best way to describe this? I feel like I can bring up another situation in which this has happened. There is a Hayao Miyazaki film that I have not watched. I've watched virtually every film that Miyazaki has ever done, with the exception to one, and that is Porco Rosso. I already know that I am going to love Porco Rosso. I know that I will. I have seen and heard nothing about the film that make me think that I won't like it, but I know that once I've watched it, I will no longer have it available to watch. And that scares me. It scares me because I have yet to live in a world where there is no longer the ability for me to watch a Ghibli film I haven't yet. Because once I watch Porco Rosso, that's it. I've seen them all. That's why I've never caught up with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm still in the middle of freaking Diamond. Alright? And why is that? Because I've been taking my time so slowly. Because I didn't want to live in a world where I didn't have more JoJo to watch. It is a wonderful feeling to be able to be like, do I want to watch just a couple episodes of JoJo every couple of weeks? Yeah, sure, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to watch a couple episodes of JoJo here. And I could do that. That is something that I have the ability to do, to watch new JoJo that I haven't seen before, because I'm taking it stupid slow. There are downsides to this, obviously, but that is a nice feeling, to be able to wake up in the morning and be like, if I so wanted, I can watch JoJo that I haven't seen before. I don't, most days, but I can. I don't know if that's just a problem with me, or if that is a situation that a lot of people have the similar experience. But it's like, when I know that I'm going to like a show, it's almost like I don't want to watch it because I already know. Maybe that's another way to look at it. I didn't script write this video at all, by the way. We're just flying off the seat of my pants. I almost wonder if it is a matter of a part of the enjoyment of watching a new show is wondering whether or not I'm going to like it. I know eventually I do get to points where it has been so long since I've watched a show that I'm just like, okay, no, I have to see this now. I remember it was almost a full decade that I avoided watching the original Gundam trilogy. Because it's like, it's Gundam. It is where Gundam started. You had to watch that at some point, or I felt like I did, but it just took me so long to do it. And I eventually did it. So maybe that'll happen to other things too. Wow, I'm all over the place. But I really am like in a position now where I don't feel the need to watch everything. And really, you shouldn't, because there's a lot most days. There is a lot of stuff to keep up with. If you try to keep up with everything, I feel like you'll spend so much time trying to keep up with it, you can't fully enjoy it, which is a bit different. But I also don't feel like I'm doing it right, if that makes sense. It feels wrong to me that this is how I am treating my favorite anime, if that makes sense. You'd think that I feel like I'm not being a good enough fan, despite, you know, buying all of this merch and everything. But I still feel like if I was a true Made in Abyss fan, I would have been there. Day one, I would have tracked down, driven 8 hours to go see. It wasn't 8 hours. I think it was like a 3 or 4 hour drive. But you would have had to go and drive to go and see this. when I could have, as soon as I could have, so that I could experience it. But at the same time, then it would have been over. It's like there are arguments both ways. There's the argument of you should do that because then you get to experience this great thing, because experiencing it is great. That is the thing that we want, right? But it's just, I don't want to experience afterwards. And that scares me. Now, of course, the thing that's keeping me in check is these videos and the fact that I've just said that I, at this point in August, are we in August already? Oh crap. In August of 2020, at the start of August, I have not seen the third Made in Abyss film. And I need to do that. If for no other reason, so that then I can go onto the internet and listen to Volume 2 of the soundtrack, of which Volume 1 I bought on vinyl. And I should also look forward to seeing the Shirobako film. When, you know, I'm actually going to look this up so I don't look like a dick. Okay, well, I can't seem to find anything that states that, you know, you could watch it or that I had the ability to. So I'm just going to continue with the idea of, I should be excited to see it when I can. And I sorta am, but I also know that I might not. So now I really need to figure out, is this a problem? What does this mean? It makes me question, okay, well, what will actually force me to watch these sequels? What will force me to watch it? I guess, technically, the desire to make videos on them will be a deciding factor. Because I can't make a video on something I haven't seen. I know people do that, but I don't want to be that kind of dick. So if I want to make a video on ReZero, I gotta watch ReZero. So, inevitably, I should make a video on ReZero, because I love the series a lot, and there's probably something worth talking about there, so maybe I should watch ReZero. I should probably watch the Made in Abyss film, because I freaking love Made in Abyss, and even if I don't make a video on it, it is my favorite anime. This is my life now. So, I know I said that I wasn't going to read comments, and because I want to ask a question. I want to know, is this a me thing? Is this, do you listen to me rant about this and then just be like, that sounds like a you problem? Is this a me problem? Is this something that I do and only I do? Do other people fear living in a world where they no longer have the ability to watch more of their favorite anime? Because that's a thing for me. I think my problem is that I just fear it too much. Occasionally, and with some things, I think it's fine. Saving that one last Ghibli movie for a special rainy day, that's fine. But then to do it for multiple things, not watching Porco Rosso, not watching Shirobako, not watching Made in Abyss, not watching ReZero, like, I can watch all but one of those and at least be safe in the knowledge that I have that last one still waiting there. But I don't. Maybe what I needed to do is sit down in front of a camera and rant about it for a while. Rewatch myself doing that by editing it, which, by the way, editor me, thank you. And then release it to the internet so then people can be like 3 months down the line, hey, have you watched Made in Abyss yet? And I may respond, yes, I have, and then be really annoyed because people are going to constantly ask me that question from this point forward. Maybe I'll have to make a tweet being like, I have now seen it, I have been blessed, and I now live in despair because it's gone. And it's done. And there's no more. So do you guys feel that way? Let me know down in the comments. This feels like a really downer ending to a video, but, you know, that is the depression in which I live and I fear. And I want to know if I'm alone in this. Hopefully not. Well, I say hopefully not for my own benefit, but really, if I'm the only one that feels this way, it's probably better. At least some people are getting better enjoyment out of their favorite things in some ways. So, yeah, let me know down in the comments, and maybe we'll do a follow-up. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah, so thank you for watching this video all the way through. Thanks to my lovely patrons who continue to be stupidly awesome and amazing, even in the midst of this pandemic, and I thank you. Specifically, great patrons like City Yamako, Calhoun Boy, Hector Montemayor, Richard Emile Bradley, Rune Jacobson, and Ryfen Bonaparte, because you guys are especially awesome, and I thank you. And until next time, stay frosty, everybody.